G'day guys, and welcome to Retrospect Reviews. I'm Vince, and can you believe it? It's been 4 years since I started this channel. So I thought to celebrate the 4th anniversary of Retrospect Reviews, I'd answer a few questions given to me by subscribers, and also talk about some of the things to do with the channel, and maybe a little bit about what's been happening with me. So let's jump into it. So to start off, let me thank all you subscribers, all 1,040 at the time of this recording. Thank you for those who stick around and have been big supporters of this channel for 4 years now. Well, I thought a fun thing to do would be to run through the top 5 viewed videos on the channel. And we'll do it from the 5th to the 1st, so the number 1 video. Now, number 1 will surprise you, and it continues to surprise me now. So I'll be interested to hear your thoughts if this video would have been your choice of my top 1 video. Number 5 with 1,060 views is a gameplay I did called Quest Room Escape Room. It's a escape room type puzzle game. It was released. There was a few glitches, so hopefully they fixed that. It was a while ago I played it. I got so far, but then the puzzles just stopped working. I did reach out to the developer who recommended the game to me, and he was going to look into it and see what was going on. So it probably works quite fine now, and you can probably still download it off Steam. If that's the case, I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can go and check it out for yourself. Okay, the 4th most viewed video on my channel is my 2020 Games Room video. Now that's had 1,318 views on it. So I'm hoping there'll be a new Games Room tour very soon, video coming out very soon. Could even be next week. Cross your fingers, because I have now moved into my new game room and have pretty much set it up. There's about 99% set up, but keep an eye out for that. So that the Games Room tour is done not too bad for my channel. 1,318 views to date. So let's see, hopefully the 2021 Games Room Tour will be better. 3rd highest video is repairing an 80s fun handheld LCD game, Monkey. Now this has had 1,400 views to date, and that is me. Really, I didn't have to fix it too much. It was just one of the buttons had curled over and you couldn't push it that much, and I gave it a clean. So that at the moment, that is the 3rd highest video on the channel. Now, the 2nd most viewed video on the channel, and was right up until number 1 came out, that was Whack Your Zombie Neighbor. Now that one was racing up in views, which I thought was very fast at the time, with a final view count to this date of 1,764 views. Wow, and I thought that was a lot back then, and I was gobsmacked when I was getting those view counts when they were riding up. Until number 1 was released, and the number 1 video, most viewed video on my channel is 10 multiplayer Wii games I still play. Now, I released this video, I think it's about 6-7 months ago now, when I was still in my old place, and I was pleasantly surprised when I checked back now and again, and it had reached the number that it had, and today I was a bit shocked. So up until the release of this video, it has had 18,573 views. Wow, for me that is a huge deal. I wish all my other videos would do so good. Yeah, and I've had a lot of comments and likes on that. Yeah, I don't know why that video is doing so well. I don't know if it's just I hit the mark at the right time, that people were looking for collecting for the Wii, because the Wii now it's what, 15 years old, give or take. So it's in that prime point in collecting where the games are still reasonably priced depending on what you're looking for. Even the system, like I've had people tell me they've picked up a system with 20-30 games for under $100. So, you know, the Wii is still quite collectible, and it's one of those consoles that every man and his dog had. So, you know, I don't think the prices are going to go up too much until they start becoming thinner in garage sales and op shops and places like that. So that is my 5 top viewed videos for the channel. So let's jump into a question from a subscriber that messaged me on YouTube. This is by Will Walder. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. He asks, what game do you wish you could play for the first time again? Ooh, that's a tough one. I guess the game that probably had the biggest impact on me, and is still one of my favourite games to this day, it would have to be Zack McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders. Only for the fact that's the game that really made me fall in love with point-and-click adventure games, and I was hooked from then on. And it was a game that brought all my friends together that had Amigas and Commodore 64s. It was a game that we all wanted to play and complete. So I have really fond memories for that, and just to capture that moment where, you know, we'd go to school and talk about it, or, you know, we'd plan sleepovers at different people's places so we could try really hard to get through that game. So that's definitely one game I wish I could experience that amazement, that wonder again about point-and-click adventure games. So I hope that answers your question, Will. And yeah, so we'll move on to something else. So we'll move on to, okay, the copyright issues. Dealing with YouTube and copyright, I've had some doozies over the years on certain videos, and sometimes things that you probably wouldn't even expect. So one of the videos I always have trouble with copyright is anything with popular music in it. Say, like, if I do a pickups video and I've picked up a Just Dance game, or I've picked up a Sing Star, or anything with that type of material in it, I always get hit with a copyright if I use footage, or even if I use, I tried a couple of times of using the actual commercial, thinking, okay, it's a commercial, they might not come hard down on that with the, you know, but it's always a section of the song that gets me hit with copyright. So it's nothing to do with the narrator, nothing to do with it being a commercial for the game. It's always if it has a certain amount of a song playing. So that's one game, that's one copyright strike I come across quite often when I pick up those games. Probably one of my first copyright claims, I think it was, my first copyright claim was on a video, and I still left it on there. It's a video that I'll never be monetized on. It says that I didn't get a strike, but I can't monetize it. If everyone goes back and starts watching it, all the ad revenue will go towards the creator. And that video was my top 10 science fiction movies I recommend. And the sad bit about that is it's only a short clip from one movie. So 9 out of the 10 had no issue with me showing small clippets of the film. There's only this one film, and which is sad because it is one of my favourite science fiction alien type movie, and that was They Live. I was absolutely surprised when I got struck with the copyright claim on this, and it was like for a few seconds video. It's where the character walks into the bank and says,
"I've come here to chew bubblegum and to kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum."
So it's a famous line that he says in the movie, which was copyright claimed, and it's still on there to this day. So yeah, whoever the person whose strike claimed that, if that video ever took off, they would get the ad monetization from that. I've never actually watched it, so yeah, I should actually go check it out, see if ads do pop up on it, because I know they do that sometimes. If yeah, they'll claim it. So yeah, that whole video is claimed by that one person who reckons they have copyright ownership over the scene out of They Live. The other annoying copyright claim I had was for when I played Disney's Aladdin on the Mega Drive. I did a how far I can go in 10 minutes, and it had the Aladdin music playing in the background all the way through the game. So yeah, I was quite surprised when Disney copyright claimed that. Even though I did try to say, look, this is a gameplay, like I can't do nothing about it. If I got rid of the music, I would actually lose any of the game sound as well. But they were insistent. They rejected my claim of fair use, being, yeah, like I'm playing a gameplay, there's nothing I can do about it, I'm showing the game, this is how the game is. So yeah, I was copyright strike on. I got a copyright strike on that. That was quite annoying. So I ended up going in and changing the music in that. Now the most funniest copyright claim I have got to date was I played 3 random Atari games. And the very first game I played was a game called Clown Downtown, or I think it's also called Walker, depending on where you are in the world. And somebody had copyright claimed the actual music for that Atari game. And if you heard that music, it's not really music. All the way through the game, that just gets faster and faster as you play it. Somebody in their right mind thought this was worth copyright claiming. So yeah, that was the funniest copyright claim I have ever got. Okay, let's move on to another question. This is another YouTube question I got, and this is by I Write Anthology Productions. Do you have a game that you can't find or afford that you would like to put back into your collection? Yeah, I do. I did have a couple. A majority of them I have been able to find. Now, there is a few out there that I haven't been able to get hold of. But my holy grail of holy grails to get is an Amiga copy of Monkey Island, big box, like I used to have in the past. It's one of my biggest regrets. I never kept that copy. That was a copy that was given to me by my mum for Christmas. There's a video where I talk about getting that game and the mischief me and my mate got up to actually try playing that early. So yeah, I'll leave a link for that video in the description, and you go and check out that story. But yeah, I wish I could get Monkey Island back in my collection. Now, I have seen it plenty of time come up on eBay. Now, you're looking between $500 and $600 to get a complete one. I did have an opportunity to get the big box on its own. I think it had the discs, but it didn't have the manuals or anything like that. They wanted $120. I was very tempted, but I want the full set, and I think that was the IBM version. So I'm really after the Amiga version. So hopefully one day, but I can't see it. Look, I could probably go out and buy it, but yeah, I as much as I want it, I can't justify the $600 price for it. But obviously people out there do. I have seen it be sold for that price, sometimes a little bit lower, sometimes a bit higher. But yeah, that's one game I can't find it in the wild. I'd be very surprised if I ever come across it in the wild. And can't afford to put it back on the shelf with the games I've got. So I thought I'd talk about a little bit about myself, because I don't really tell much about myself besides stories of retro gaming. I do have a diploma in IT networking, and I have a diploma in electrical engineering, believe it or not. Yeah, in regards to work, I have worked in a number of fields. I've worked in the IT industry as building computers and also administration stuff. But I've also worked for what we call here a job agency in Australia, where I was actually a work for the Dole supervisor. That wasn't my official team. Dole is our what we call unemployment. So the abbreviation we used to call it work for the Dole, where if you were on unemployment after a certain amount of months, couldn't find a job, you would have to come in and do, I think it was about 4 weeks of some kind of work, voluntary work, a couple of hours a day or 3 or 4 days a week. So I was actually in charge of one of those. We used to do film. We used to make films. We used to also do other computer stuff like make magazines for the Rotary Club, or I think we made one for the PCYC, which is a youth centre type thing run by the police, where the youth, they got basketball and they have events and so forth like that, and a gym. So yeah, I did a number of things like that. But I've also done, I've worked in retail. I've worked in a bottle shop in the others, and one of my fallback jobs was a cleaner, and I was doing that recently up until June last year. I worked at a school as a cleaner. I used to like doing that because if anyone who's worked in IT or any kind of administration knows, sometimes it can get a bit high pressure, and you just like to do something that is straightforward, and cleaning was a job that I could do that was quite straightforward. So might as well talk about my health while we're here. So I don't talk about this, so a lot of people wouldn't know this. Back in my early 20s, I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic.
Hi, I'm Wilford Brimley, and I have diabetes.
But in recent events, I've been having some health issues over the last year, which I've never talked about, and it's come to light that I possibly should have been actually diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic. So that explains some of the issues I've been having, where the normal treatment they would give for a type 2 diabetic wasn't really working. So hopefully that will fix those issues, but it has led to some small complications, like my eyesight's not as good as it used to be, having some issues with muscles and things, just things that diabetes over time would start to degrade no matter which one you have.
It hurts me to pee, and it causes me to be short with my family. I can't sleep at night.
Some of the other issues I have, I don't talk about that often, but we're friends. I just won't tell anyone else. So yeah, I've always been one of my biggest hurdles, and you hear that I've got a diploma in electrical engineering, I've got a diploma in IT networking. One of my biggest hurdles in life is I have dyslexia. So I always found it hard, not so much reading, but writing and spelling. Mainly, they call it dysgraphia, is one of the hurdles I have. So I have spelling problems, and it's not a problem, it's just I spell different to you. And my handwriting is not the best, which, as you can imagine, growing up in the 80s and early 90s, confidence, eventually my confidence went downhill when my schoolwork wasn't as good as everyone else's, and let's just say the 80s and 90s didn't promote a loving community among your schoolmates. Especially the bullies. Once they work out that weakness, they can be quite savage sometimes. So that was a bit of a hurdle for me over the years. And Of course, yeah, especially with the dyslexia, I also have developed anxiety over it. I had always had some kind of anxiety, and I was told that it could stem from when, and this is no fault of anyone, I don't blame anyone, especially my parents or everyone that was trying to care for me at the time. But my brother was born with a medical condition, so mum and dad were always away dealing with that, which is a fair enough. But I think that developed some kind of separation anxiety, but it really built up as my dyslexia was starting to impede on my schooling, especially with the reading and the writing. And I still pronounce words wrong as well. That didn't help at school, as you can imagine. Especially, I don't know if they do it much these days, but they used to get us to get up and read in front of the class, which was torture for me. I really hated it. So that's probably one good thing about YouTube. Actually, it's given me the ability to speak better in front of people, even though I'm only speaking to a camera at the moment, but I know there's potentially hundreds and thousands of people that could watch this video. And that really helped with one of my biggest one of my biggest darkest days, I suppose you could say, is when my mother passed away and I had to read the eulogy. It was the first time that I felt confident enough to get up and speak in front of people in such a long time, because I wasn't nervous at all. If you asked me to do that 5, 10, even 20 years ago, I would have. There's no way. I know I couldn't do it at my father's funeral. My cousin read his eulogy, but yeah, that's probably one positive thing about YouTube. It has really helped me develop that. So yeah, that might be a bit heavy for this video.
Whoa, this is heavy.
But that's some of the things I've been dealing with over the last couple of years while doing YouTube. And YouTube has really helped me, especially with the passing of my mother, and then shortly after that, the passing of my grandmother. 2019 was a really hard year for me personally. So yeah, let's move on to something else. Let's do another question. This one comes from Twitter. This is from the Do You Nerd guys. They've actually got 2 questions, so we'll answer both questions. So we'll start off with the first one. The first one is, what has been the most difficult part in balancing your work, home, social life with YouTube content creation? I think the hardest part is just finding the time. To me, was picking a schedule, a time, knowing I had a week to create a video and edit it, and just take my time editing it. That's probably been the way I've balanced everything I've had to deal with over the last 4 years of doing the channel. So I hope that answered your question. Okay, the second question was, based solely on your time with YouTube, if you knew then what you know now, what would you do differently? Ooh, what would I do differently? Probably better lighting, but I was working with what I got. Some of my early videos, oh my god, they are dark. I'm surprised anyone can see what I'm doing in those videos. But what would I do differently? Probably different name. At the time, I didn't want to really put my name out there. If you've probably seen some of my earlier videos too, I never say who I am. I never say, hi, I'm Vince. I always say, welcome to Retrospectreviews. And I think if I started the channel over again, I would just name it, Vincent or Vincent B, or I don't know if still don't know if I want to put my full last name out there, but I'm sure people can find it if they really, really wanted to. But yeah, I'd probably stick to just my name and just my logo. I don't think I would really worry about the retrospect reviews thing. But that was the thing 4 years ago, was to have a snappy channel name, something different. Which is funny enough, after I chose that name, I typed it into the YouTube search, and 2 channels turned up, my own and one that was made a few years before mine, and they've only uploaded 1 video, so I'm assuming they're not interested in that channel anymore. It's still there if you want to check it out. If you type in Retrospectreviews, you'll get my channel, which would be at the top, and another one down there. But I'm getting off subject here. Yeah, so the one thing I would probably do different is just put my real name out there. My channel name would be just Vince or Vincent, something like that, or Vincenzo, depending on what you want to call it. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about a fancy name. That's probably one of the things I would do differently. And probably not. I suppose, yeah. Look, probably the only other thing I'd probably do different is not locked into one thing. It's like I said, the channel's kind of been focused in on retro gaming, where I was really interested in a number of other things like retro films, retro games, retro toys. So I think I'd focus more on that sort of things. They're probably the few things I would change in that. Well, I think we'll wrap the video up there. I hope those questions helped you get to know me a bit better. A bit of a look over the 4 years of retrospect reviews, some of my top videos, some of the funniest copyright strikes I've had to date. And once again, I'd like to thank those 1,040 subscribers at this time. Thanks for subscribing and sticking with me. In the comments, let me know if you want to know anything else about me, or do you have something you want me to cover. I'm quite happy to talk about any retro game, retro toys, retro video games, computers. Yeah, so if you've got any thoughts, leave them down below in the comment section. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and share this video, because it does really help get the channel out there. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. We would love you to come on board and be part of our community. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and thanks for watching for the last 4 years, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.